Now, talking about footy, I had a tragic weekend. As you know, I was away Thursday, thanks to Rita Panahi for filling in. I was working on another project in Sydney and then in Melbourne and then in South Australia. And that was pretty lucky for me because it meant I was at Adelaide Oval for the momentous clash between my beloved Crows and the Sydney Swans. This was an unofficial or an early elimination final, really. Whoever won would most likely play finals. Whoever lost, the season was over. The Swans dominated the first half, but that set up an amazing second half and a barnstorming last quarter comeback from the mighty Crows, and it culminated in this moment of sheer madness, perhaps the greatest umpiring stuff-up in Aussie rules history.
Keys could be the goal of his life. Opens it up, bangs it a goal. He's got it. One for the ages. No, it's touched the post. They're celebrating. They don't know. They don't know yet.
I was in the stands. There was ecstasy and then there was disbelief. The siren went. The Swans took a 1-point win. The Crows had gone from heroes to zero in an instant. And then the revelation of how badly they'd been robbed. What should have been a match-winning kick, a season-defining kick, was in fact the goal. It didn't touch the post. It was clearly a goal, but the goal umpire had called it as having hit the post. The goal umpire could have and should have at least asked for a video review. They've been doing that all season. The field umpires too shouldn't have let play go on without a review, but they all failed in their duties. Now, you know, I'm a Crows supporter. I sip from a Crows mug on this desk every night. In fact, I'm an official ambassador to the club. So don't believe me. Listen to those experts who have no loyalty to the team and still see this as the worst howler of them all. Former Hawthorn, Collingwood and Swans great Dermott Brereton declared this is definitive. There is no grey area. The AFL can't say it's grey. They have to say they got it wrong, and it's costing a team a berth in the finals. And as for Adelaide CEO Tim Silvers, he said the failure to review was inexplicable, especially given the enormity of the moment. There were
There's a bit of anger. We're shattered. And also, in all my days in footy, in 20 years, it's probably the biggest match day error I've come across.
Yeah, now on Saturday night there were phone calls and discussion late into the night. The AFL the next day admitted the error, but no one could fairly reverse the result. After all, there'd been a minute left to play.
There was a goal umpiring decision that should have been reviewed, and that was a mistake. I want to say conclusively that if the decision had been reviewed, it would have been overturned, and it would have been a goal.
What an absolute shocker. This is hugely unfair as a blow to a club that's rebuilding, fighting to get back into the finals, a season ended by incompetent umpiring. Now, sport's all about swings and roundabouts, of course, but this blow was so bad, it had the South Australian Premier, a supporter of the Crows' crosstown arch rivals, Port Adelaide, talking like this.
I really feel for the Adelaide Footy Club, its players and all its supporters. You know, seasons hang on decisions such as like this, so it was a shocker.
Yeah, deep down, he's just relieved Port won't have to face Adelaide in the finals. But there's a bigger point here. The AFL is pretty big on lecturing people, lecturing clubs and supporters on all sorts of issues, including political issues, like The Voice, for instance, which you know I support. But perhaps they ought to pull back from all their extracurricular virtue signalling and concentrate on just trying to run a game properly.